Are you ready to unlock your full potential? Motivational speaker, the comeback coach, and goal crusher Joe Rivera brings you inspiring leaders, incredible stories, and valuable lessons on how you can change, grow, and reforge your life. Now, here's your host, Joe Rivera.
What's up? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Reforge Your Life Show. I'm your host, Joe Rivera, and here at the Reforge Your Life Show, we love to show you that the comeback is more than possible. And today I'm super excited about the guest I'm going to bring on the show. Y'all are going to love her energy, her story, her wisdom. Olga Binyaminov from Exceeding Learning Center. Welcome to the show.
Joe, thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you for coming through. The owner of Exceeding Learning Center.
Yes.
We'll get into all that in a little bit, but I've heard your story, and I know you have a powerful story, but there's no way I'm qualified to tell it like you can. So I'd love for you to share with the audience your story of strength and hope.
Thank you, Joe. Obviously, we all have different stories in life.
Absolutely.
I have plenty of stories, plenty of things that I've been through. But I think the biggest story is the perseverance of going through immigration, divorce, building a business, raising kids. And that is so strong when you realize that you can. I was born and raised in former USSR, immigrated to the country of Israel when I was 8, served the IDF, 20, immigrated to by myself, grandparents, and then I was forced into an arranged community. It's very much got to do what you're told. I had my son, who is now 21, spoke about him a lot, and I couldn't survive this marriage. Physical abuse, mental abuse. I had to go through school. I wanted to. I shouldn't say I had to. And that was something that was not okay. My first husband. So went through very difficult divorce, difficult custody situation where not so much that he wanted the kid, but he just didn't for anything. That was challenging. Making $7 an hour, paying $5. Imagine how difficult that was, surviving and really creating the human that I was left with. And then I went back to school. I got my degree. I'm a biochemist. I'm actually a college professor, day job. And got remarried. 2 beautiful, incredible girls, 15 and 7. And, I'm just telling you this story real fast because there's so many details that I can go through. But what I'm trying to bring is life throws so much at you. And you can swim. And I always choose swimming. When I got remarried, had my 2 kids, my second marriage ended with my leaving for another woman. I had a 6-month-old. That baby is now 7-year-old, gorgeous, incredible child. But that was a challenge moment. That was a very challenging.
Of course.
Between figuring out what is wrong with me, at the men that I was left, else, and can I really raise those kids, raise them an age on my own? If you all remember COVID, that was the hardest time. The hardest time of my life. I had a 1.5 year old baby. My business at the time, Exceeding Learning Center, had to shut down because there was no business. People didn't leave, and I moved everything to an apartment. Having all 3 kids at home, cooking their breakfast, lunch, dinner. I'm sure people remember those times because you couldn't leave. And then eventually, in the last 1.5 years, somewhat, I've opened my new home for Exceed Learning Center, Albertson. Beautiful facility, place where children, kids, teens, adults are just loving the growth.
And Exceeding Learning Center is a beautiful. And man, there's a lot to unpack there, right?
Yeah.
So first off, you come into the country as an immigrant, and you have to deal with those challenges, right? And making minimum wage, but you also had to deal with domestic abuse, which it's not easy. You know, it's challenging and it could do a lot to the mind. So I'm curious, you know, when you're going through this abuse in your life, um, what were some of those challenges that you went through in those moments?
Well, I think the biggest challenge of that time was the way that this abuse was accepted. Remember when playing the first time parents were say it's just me, my grandpa, and I complained to my mother-in-law, "Your son hit me." Her response was, "Her father, we all been there, big deal." And I think that was the most challenging understanding that and for me, the moment I said no was when my son was, and as my ex-husband beating me on my bed, his fist, son walked up with his toy, gesturing, take it. That was the moment I said, I am never. That was the moment I changed my locks. No money whatsoever. Nothing. Changed the locks. I did. Not something. And my entire family turned this. How can you shame? Can't do that. It's okay. We all dealt with it, deal with it. But my son was so much more important. The image than what would people say, than me being so-called married. Here.
So, how long before you made that decision were you going
That was probably a year. My son was half. My first time he abused me, I was pregnant.
through?
The first time. Then when my son was almost a year, so I guess somewhat a year.
Yeah. I think it's important for people to also pick up on the fact that a lot of these limiting beliefs that we go through start from childhood
Oh, for sure.
upbringing. That's what it sounds like. Like you were getting abused while you were pregnant and stuck around because of the shame that your family would have had upon you because divorce is acceptable. You're supposed to stick it
Yeah.
to a situation no matter how it gets. Um, so what was that like? Define your family that moment when you did say, you know what, enough's enough. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Because that's what it takes to make a move like that and a change when you're going through a situation like that, some type of bottom in your life. And you said, enough's enough. I'm going to make this change. But that was define your whole family.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was that like in those moments?
Yeah. So for years, nobody have took me some time to move out where I lived. His parents kind of were in facility. I did get an protection. Where I could tell there was a time that I was ready to the shelter. Couldn't afford anything at all, and accepting him back was not an option. It was challenging. It was hard. I had no money for my son had taken and pretend I'm not hungry so I can. And then I moved. I started working at at the college. Actually, first job. Um, Still have it. Work study as you study the hours, and yeah, and then I did other things slowly, rebuild myself, and just being able to pass.
I want to take the time to acknowledge you and say thank you for standing up for yourself and being able to be an example to other women who are going through situations like that because it's a serious problem out there.
But let me tell you this: I got married the second time. Didn't start right away. Started
Okay.
the cultural thing. I
Mhm.
think this took a lot longer than so proud and so young, you know, was me this. Second time was for quite some time. And me, it was so much more shameful to now walk away. And again, it goes back to limiting beliefs because of the way we were upbringing. Always, this is the way it is. This is the way it is. And if you walk away right now, what will people? You don't walk away on a second. So it was a lot stronger in terms of until this decision was made. And for my second marriage, rocky at times, I think abuse stopped. Which took me big, huge courage because it was so beyond what we're accustomed to. And he's a smart man. When the police walked in, he said, "Don't pay attention to her. Got her bipolar med. Anything she's saying is not true." And been through this, done this. I continued the marriage with him. That was the last time, 2014. I think got married in 2009. 2014 was the last time and we still lived together for another 5 years where cheating, all of that infidelity started. But what I want to say to those that are experiencing this, it's really not you. When we go through abuse, we think it's us wrong with. It's us that doing something wrong for the other person. Absolutely. It took me a long time to realize it's their problem. Nobody should ever allow that.
And I'm sure it was difficult also to walk away because there were more kids in.
Yeah, so much.
And when you went through those moments of, because this is a common thing for women who go through abusive relationships where they put the blame on themselves. They're the reason why it's happening. What got you to remove that way of thinking, kind of shift your paradigm? Because you know what? I'm not the problem. He's the problem. He's the one that's not me.
So I think the first thing for me was to realize that I think the hardest thing was, how do I do? Do I walk away? Because now dispatch things with family, they accepted marriage, now kids and all that. So I think that was the biggest thing. Work on myself to understand that those people don't live my life.
You Yeah, I think they all got emails because she got one. She got a link, so we're gonna.
I did get.
She got one. We'll figure it out. But damn, I forgot my phone. Turn my phone
No
off. All right,
worries.
let's bring it back. So what was the
I think from where I said
should I start the question from the top? All right, what was the question again? It was
yeah, the answer.
question was women who, oh, to take the blame off. I got it. All right, let's go, bro. Yeah, I got it. There was more difficult because there was kids involved, but there's a lot of women who go through the thing with it themselves.
What got you?
And shift the paradigm. Yeah. The questions don't have to be exactly the same as long as it's, unless you could pick up where she left off at.
Yeah, you can do from there.
That's where the phone rang? Where did the phone ring?
No, a little after.
Yeah. All right, so start from there. Where could she start from? How could I do this again?
Not the
Okay.
same, but yeah.
Okay.
Then right. Okay.
Uh,
I'll repeat with and whatever I'll say. I don't remember
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
said,
yeah.
but whatever. Maybe it's the same.
Yeah.
The only time my phone rings if my kids call. Then I take.
I'm only 100 episodes in. You gotta have this phone shut off by now.
100. So I think the biggest thing is really start working. Realize that it doesn't matter what they would work on your self worth.
Yeah, self-worth is so important. And it takes a lot to be in that situation and realize that um I'm a person worthy of love and respect, right? Um so what was that like to uncover that? Realize you are a woman worthy of love and
Lots
you
of
deserve.
lots of self worth. Lots of worthy understanding. The pain from childhood. It all starts from your childhood. Way you are always not good enough. Prove yourself. And it doesn't mean that parents was. I think my mom has done a phenomenal job raising me, my sister, single. But the way she was through the cultural belief, you always have to show the community working. Until I realized that community, it's all me. I am worth and what other.
Yeah, because it's something else, man, because there's upbringing that will damage the way we think, right? And it's in your situation, it's not leaving a marriage and sticking it through, even though you're getting abused. And physical abuse is also it's physical and mental what you went through, and emotional, right? And it, it's it's a problem that needs to be spoken about. And I want to say, thank you for your vulnerability to put it out there because there's women and men who need to hear that, you know, and understand that it's not the end all be all. You don't have to stay in that situation. You don't have to, you don't have to worry about what other people think, even if it's family. There's some people who are going to create toxic energy in your life. And you know what? You got to love them from a distance, you know? So I wanna go back into these limited beliefs that were created in your life. What are some of the limited beliefs that you had to crack through in order to get through the challenges you went through, other than the fact of the upbringing and having to stay in a situation?
So I think the first one is like I said, not good. Not good enough. If I leave this marriage, who else is gonna look at me? If I not able to suspend. So this not good enough is very strong, and I think a lot of I'll take it back again to childhood. I am a mother. I don't think child ever heard say or trust you in you, which is not raised so much for us. But this saying so hard for me. I tell my kids every million times a day, love you, I believe you can. Sometimes they come to me, yes, I know, mom, you love me. I
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
It's so important to know are enough. To me, that's what I think the second one is lots of not fitting in my culture. If of course don't fit time, I friends friended because I was norm anymore. Um, being the norm is
important. And, sometimes being the norm is not what you want anyway.
oh yeah,
You want to be different and kind of create your own path. And I think something else that you mentioned that's really important for the audience to pick up on is that sometimes in different cultures, the upbringing comes from the parenting that we go through, and
yeah,
our parents uh, came up in a different time, in a different era in life, so things are completely different. So it's not even their fault for bringing us up like that because they weren't educated. But we have the education now to change that pattern and not be the way that those limited beliefs upbring us. We have the power within us to be able to break that and be the curse breaker or chain breaker in the family. You don't have to stay stuck in that pattern. And you're living proof, right? I'm living proof, So I think it's important for the audience to recognize that, man, that, God bless your parents for bringing you into the world and raising you, but you don't have to stay stuck in the upbringing or those beliefs, that belief system that's built there. I think also that when we break those limited beliefs, right? I mean, those limited beliefs, I believe that a lot of them still come up, right?
sure,
We just
all
learn
the
how to
time,
control them once we
right?
break that belief system. And when we get through that belief system and build a new belief system, there's core values that are up. And I believe that those core values are things that are the values that we're able to hold on to when life does get difficult, because this life, it's not a perfect line to success. Shit gets fucked up. There's going to be bumps in the road. You got to be able to lean into those core values to navigate through those bumps in the road. So, what are some of the core values that you uncovered through your journey?
So before I answer the question, if I can just go back and say our parents have done, and myself as a parent, done I with what I had till I started working with myself and covering for value, I probably was still am not perfection. Know that what we do is best we can do with what we have.
Absolutely.
And one of my core values that I've covered was that I am lovable, that I don't have to guess from or accept things that I'm not. This strength built to know that
Absolutely. And it's so important to know your self-worth and to love yourself and respect yourself. Because if you don't fully love yourself and respect yourself, you can't fully love anyone else, your children, your significant other. You won't be able to give anybody that type of love and respect if you're not able to give it to yourself, you know? And I think that it's important that, especially in the times we're living in now, that we focus more on that self-worth and knowing your value and loving yourself and taking those moments to be able to have that self-care is important, you know. um what are some of the things you do now to remind yourself or to practice self-care?
so I still learn a lot development all the time. A lot of the podcasts, stories, that self care starts with making yourself happy. Take care of your body. That's so important for me. How I take that every walking, going to the gym, being healthy. Those basics are all things that you love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, you digest it. Just You love yourself. No satisfied.
I think it's important for people to realize how important it is to take care of your mind, body, and soul. Because if you don't, you won't be able to take care of your business. You won't be able to take care of your family, you know? And it's also important to do things. It's also important to be self-conscious of the things you're allowing into your body, your mind, and your soul, right? Man, fucking cell phone could be such a distraction and distract you away from your destiny and what you're out there to create, right? So you have to make sure you're aware of what you're allowing into your mind when you're out there scrolling on social media mindlessly. You know what I mean? What do you bring? What are you putting into your mind? What are you allowing? What are you eating that you're putting into your body that you're not able to perform at your highest level because you're putting all those carbs in your body, all that sugar in your body? You know, and there's nothing wrong with indulging, right? You could indulge once in a while, but you got to be aware of when you're doing it, how much you're doing it.
Mindful.
Yeah, mindful, so important.
I think it's also important to live toxic, not be afraid of it.
Oh, man. Amen to that.
This is a lot of times it's very difficult. Toxic are the close to that could be immediate family, relatives, and if you don't, you will draw yourself back in a cycle of not being worthy.
100%. I mean, you are who you surround yourself, right? I mean, you surround yourself with people who are creating that toxic energy in your life. You're going to have toxic energy. You're going to become a toxic person,
Yeah.
right? When you surround yourself with people who inspire you, guess what? You're inspired to do more with your life. I mean, it's just a known fact.
Believe it or not, once you start working on yourself, as soon as you are around those people that have a energy,
Mm.
you're gonna feel it in your soul. You'd want to
Right.
be out as soon as possible because it just not doesn't sink anymore.
Yeah, it's so true, and that's so important for the audience to pick up on how important it is to make sure you're surrounding yourself with people who are going to bring you up rather than bring you down, and go into rooms like that. Be around people where you're not the smartest,
Right.
you know, where you don't have to worry about that, where you could actually learn things and grow from those situations. If you're the smartest person in the rooms you're going into, you're in the wrong fucking
You're the wrong.
rooms.
Yes.
So, Olga, I'd love for you to tell the audience where they can find you, what you have going on now.
So my center is in Albert. That is my biggest passion. I love working. That's how I started this. Right after program, homework help, chess games. We have abacus mental math, which is very unique. But that doesn't stop there. Because I love developing myself, I created the program for teens where we teach life skills. School doesn't budget. Ask today, write a check. They don't know. How do you prepare them for life? Gotta give them exposure beyond the math. So in the center, I do a lot of different programs. Month we are in November. This is air, but in November it's gratitude. Gratitude, science. There's a science behind gratitude.
Right.
There's a whole bunch of things that if you don't know and you won't be able to apply it. In December, we're preparing for here a program that's called Life by Design the life that you really. I have the life that I may not have the millions, but I have healthy
Up until now.
up until
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
Yes, yet. I should say I don't have the millions
right.
yet.
There you go.
But having the job that I absolutely love, I wake up in the morning looking forward for my day. Not something I'm dragging. I enjoy every moment. Every single student, I know them by name, know everything that they would like or want with their life because I engage them. And then, of course, adults, we are lifelong learners. Stop learning.
Right. Doesn't end when we go to school. It's a lifelong experience that learn.
And I
Sure
know
is.
you, Joe, have been part of my adult book club
Yes.
where we read personal development classes and just personal development um, topics selected. Talk about it, engage it, apply it to our lives. You can never learn. I feel that the more I learn, the more there is for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, just when you stop learning, you stop growing. Pretty much die at that.
Yeah.
Learning is everything. I want to go back to what you mentioned about gratitude month. Even though this is going to to that, I believe gratitude is so vital for success and for self care and for personal development, everything. Um, and I just want to touch on that. There's so many different pieces. So, can you share with the audience your top three values with gratitude?
Well, when you can see, grateful for what you have, universe will send you.
Right.
That's really the first and the most crucial. The little things, not you hit oh, start appreciating the value of oh because it bothers.
Mm,
Those little things we don't see on the fact that you woke up. Some
amen.
people didn't.
Right.
The fact that you have a roof over you, people don't. There's those little things that we take for are actually huge things. Take them away, you'll see how misery is that. So the second thing is really think little things are extremely valuable. And the last thing I think is are grateful and recognize that these things see so much to be.
It's so amazing how gratitude is like it shifts perspective.
Yeah.
It shifts energy. Right. I mean, just when you just started talking about it, yeah, and right. And it's so incredible, man. I can't picture my life without gratitude. I got so much to be grateful for. I mean, you mentioned waking up in the morning. I mean, that's once we wake up in the morning, that's the win of the day, right? That's the big win, right? You start the day off with a win when you wake up. Gotta say thank you for that. Be grateful for that.
Yeah.
There's people who don't wake up in the morning. They can't wake up because they're not in this world anymore.
No, I think even bad things. If I would have never go back to school. I would not have that situation.
Yeah.
So even the bad thing, look so bad.
So important. If you didn't go through the situation you went through, get out of that, and I didn't overcome substance abuse, we wouldn't be sitting here today.
No.
You know? I always say, man, I say thank you, substance abuse, for making me the man that I am today. You know, for giving me this platform. So yeah, it's important because when you are able to go through those tough times and be grateful for them, you could use them to catapult. So important. Um, so there's a couple of questions that I ask all my guests. The first question is, what does the word purpose mean?
Purpose is the value that I bring to the legacy. Bring as much as I have.
Mm. You all leaving. You're already doing it. Just keep doing what you're doing. I love it. Especially for those kids. It's awesome. And when you hear the word reforge, what comes to mind?
No idea.
Okay. Okay. So reforge is like to repurpose, to reinvent. Um, it's what you did with your life. You reforged your life. You went from uh, woman who was abused, who had a mindset of it your fault, to turning into this incredible leader who you are today. You reforged your life. You just learned. You learned something else today. There you go.
I'm surprised I didn't hear. I knew it's something with but I couldn't come up with what.
All good. All right.
But what comes to mind is really, I always think about our. So I think Reforge is that how
Right.
Today's teen. Yeah, this rolling endless amount of information over. Don't need.
Right.
That's too much.
That's definitely a need out there right now for sure. And what's one thing that the audience doesn't know about you that you enjoy doing for fun?
Love cross-stitch.
Tell us more. Tell us more about that.
Probably saw it in my office, but it's something I just enjoy. My Saturdays, I don't work on Saturdays. Day off. My kids are very observant. That's what I sit on my couch or outside when the weather is good. Cross a lot of different pictures and stuff, and yeah, that's my piece of enjoyment.
Oh, that's good. I love that. So there's somebody out there right now who's looking to reforge their life, whether it's in their business, their marriage, their health, their finances, in one of the domains of their life. And they don't have the know-hows, they don't have the tools to do that. What's one piece of advice that you could give them?
Given advice that I want. Do it imperfect.
Love that, man. This thing we call purpose is a messy playpen, right? There's no such thing as perfection. That's an illusion. An illusion.
Nothing.
As long as you progress. That's
should not be perfect.
Oh. Imagine it would probably be fucking boring.
Not angels.
Yeah, there's no way. That perfection doesn't even exist. I love the fact that you mentioned that. Man, Olga, thank you so much for coming through. I knew you were going to bring the energy, the story, and you did that and more. I'm really grateful. No pun intended with the gratitude, but I'm really grateful for you coming through and sharing the platform.
Joe, thank you so much for having me. Hope that whoever will take this upon themselves to their.
Right. And for you listeners and viewers out there, thank y'all for coming through and checking it out. And please don't forget LFSS, like, follow, subscribe, and share, because there's somebody out there right now who's looking to reforge their life, whatever domain it is, their business, their health, their finances, and they don't have the know-how, they don't have the tools. Or maybe it's a friend that's not watching the episode that you can help them reforge their life. So please share the episode. Stay productive, stay purposeful, and stay blessed.
You've been listening to Reforge Your Life with your host, Joe Rivera. Make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. To learn more about Joe Rivera and how he can help you or your organization reforge your life and regain your place at the top, head on over to withjoerivera.com and follow Joe on all social platforms. The Reforge Your Life podcast was produced by Thrive Loud Productions. Thanks for listening.